Hello there, folks. Hey, this is Joe Wazoo here today, and today I want to do a little demo with the E3-Mix 20884-1 device from Redline, and I want to start a whole new project and show you what it takes to get this thing to read in an analog signal from beginning as if it's brand new. So here I've got the unit, well, that's the unit I'm using. I'm going to open up Crimson 3.1. I'm going to do File New, just to start completely. And the E3s are going to be found under the E3IO. And this is the unit that I have here. It has all these different discrete and analogs on it. It has a couple Ethernet ports and a USB port on here. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK here. And I'm going to set this up by default. If I click on communications, I think you can name things. You can change the station number. You can interact with the LEDs and so forth. I'm going to leave everything here as default. If I click on the network tab, I'm going to use my Ethernet 1 to have this static IP address on this unit. Ethernet 2 I'm not going to do anything with for this application. On the download, I'm going to auto Ethernet 1. And maybe I want to use Ethernet to download later. The first time you do this, you got to use USB, and I'm going to show how that's done. And the options, they've got some things in here. I'm not going to interact with that. So again, we're going to go back to here. That's the IP address we want to set on this thing. We're not going to do anything with this 6net set or this Modbus part, nor are we going to do anything with the RS-45 port in this. Services, you've got some watchdog things, and I do want to make sure the web server is turned on because we're going to use that. By default, this is enabled. Okay, so that's that part there. If I go over here to I/O channels, again, my goal is to take a milliamp input into this. So if I go here to the analog input channels, I'm going to leave everything by default. This is the default setting, 4 to 20 milliamp on this thing. And if I go down here to Security Manager, no login required, got all the buttons checked. So this is it. Now, I want to go download this to you. So if I go here to Link and Options, I can't really use the TCP because I don't know what the IP address is right now. The USB is not prevalent on this product. Even though it's using a USB cable, it's actually going to show up as a serial port. So I'm going to use this COM port, and let me go ahead and open up Device Manager. I want to show you something here. So I'm going to just search Device Manager. And here's my Device Manager. Now I don't have it connected at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in my USB cable from the E3 into my laptop. Let's see if we hear anything. There's the sound we always look for. And then, of course, this refreshes. And what you're going to do here, folks, it's going to be under the COM ports. Go here to COM ports, and you can see it's COM port 5 is what it got here. So if I disconnect it, take that away. Let me go ahead and, well, it's not even here. The COM ports aren't here. Go ahead and reconnect it again. And we'll look at the COM ports. So it's COM port 5 is what it says here. All right. So we're going to take that suggestion, go to the link down here to Options, choose COM 5. Now, if you notice right now, the Shazam button is turned off, and if I go to Link and Send, I can't do anything. So I actually have to save the program first. Got to save the database. So I'm going to save it wherever. Just go ahead and override this one. Once I save the database, now I can enable or download to it. So let me go ahead and do the update here. Really? No, that's weird. Let's try it again here. Let's go to Link. Oh, it's rebooting for some reason. Let's try it once again. All right. So the number doesn't match. That's fine. We'll say yes. Okay. So now I've downloaded to it, but I can't really, and it's restarting again. Can't really look at values in here live that I can tell. But what I can do is this is the IP address of the unit. So if I go to my Internet Explorer, add a new tab, and put in that IP address, 192.168.1.21, it pulls up the web page for this. Okay, so here's the web page for this particular unit, and I'm going to go down here. This is basically the same thing you can do in Crimson 3.1, but the beauty to the 3.1 is you save the database. In here, you really can't save it. So I like to use the Crimson software to configure it and then use this to monitor. So in here, I'm not going to really look at anything. I want to go to the Tools section, And I'm going to go to, let's see what we got here, read local. Let me go to monitor IO here, and I'm going to look at the analog input, and I'm going to do the raw values here. All right, so it's refreshing. I think the fastest you can refresh is 3 seconds. So that's the fastest it does, not 13 seconds. I want 3. All right, so this thing should be refreshing. Now, I don't have my milliamp generator turned on, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on my loop simulator here. And I'm going to set it to current 2-wire. And right now I'm putting out 0 milliamps. So if I increase this, I'm at 2 milliamps now. I'm at 3 milliamps. All right, so here's 4 milliamps. I'm at exactly 4 milliamps on my simulator. Now I'm at 4.1 milliamps. See the number there change? That's 1.76. So at 4 milliamps, right here, it should be 0. That's it. And then that's 4.1 milliamps according to my little loop simulator. Let's take it all the way to 20 milliamps. Let's see what the span is on this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and ramp this up. Okay, there's 12 milliamps. I stopped at 12 milliamps. Notice it's 16,356. Let's go ahead and take this all the way to 20 milliamps. All right, I'm all the way at 20 milliamps on the loop simulator. So you can see here the raw value goes from 0 to 32,723 in this case. This is the default settings on here. Let's go back to Crimson real quick here. Over here. Notice that I'm using channel 1 here. And on channel 1, see this here where it says scale beyond? Let's do negative below 4 milliamps. Let's just see what that does. What about over here in resolution? Let's keep it at 16 milliamps. Or 16-bit, I'm sorry, 16-bit. So let me go ahead and save this. I'll use the save button. I like to save before I download. And let's go ahead and hit the Shazam. Say yes. Okay. The unit's going to cycle power. And we'll go back to our live view here. All right, I'm still sitting at 20 milliamps, but this time, let me take it down to below 4 milliamps. So let me ramp this down. And on the simulator right now, we're sitting right there is 12.0 milliamps. So that's the halfway point between 0 and 32,000 there, if you will. Let's take this all the way down to 4 milliamps. Oops, pressing the wrong way here. Hold on, team. So we're going down. We're 8, 7, 6, 5. All right, so here we are. Here's 4.1 milliamps. There's that same 176 again. Here's 4 milliamps. So it's going to say, oh, look at that, team. So it goes to negative 17 between 4.0 and here's 4.1. Okay, so if I take the simulator below 4 milliamps, let's say I take it to 3 milliamps, there's the number. What if I take this all the way down to 0 milliamps? Let's see what it does here. Here's the reading at 1 milliamp. That's the reading right there at 1 milliamp at that number. And let's take this all the way down to 0. All right, so at 0 milliamps, it's showing that number right there. Now, what does this pull down here do? Let's see, so what does signal do? Okay, so signal shows as a 4 milliamps. It's showing 0.039. My simulator only has 1 decimal point. So if I turn this up just 1, now I'm pointing out 0.1 on my simulator. You can see here it's pretty close. Take that to 0.2. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's take this up to 4 milliamps again. Now my simulator is sitting at 4 milliamps, and you can see the number here is 3.992. If I go one more up, I'm at 4.1 on my simulator, and this thing's just barely over. So that's what it does there. And what if I take this all the way back to 20 milliamps? We'll ramp this all the way up, and we'll sit here at, there's roughly 12.0 milliamps on my simulator. You can see here it shows 11.95, pretty darn close. We'll take this all the way up to 20 milliamps just to see what it does here. So I'm at 20 milliamps on my signal generator, and this thing's showing 19.77 there. What about this percent? Let's see what this says. Now this is interesting. Is a percentage, that's at 99%, and I bet you, team, if I go all the way down to 4, Let's stop it at 12 milliamps. Hold on here. There's 12 milliamps. We're sitting right around 49.9%, which is the halfway point. And if we take it all the way down to 4, 4.6, 4.3, 2, 1, there's 4.0. Okay, that's takes it right below there. If I go to 4.1, I'm sitting probably at, yep, pretty darn close. So that's the different, your percentage goes from 0 to 100%. The pull down here for signal will show 4 to 20 milliamps number there. And the raw is what I usually focus on, which is the decimal equivalent of that from 0 to 32,767, which makes it a 15-bit number, really is what it is. So that's how it works with the analog I/O. Let's go ahead and see if we can do something else here with this. Let me ponder my thoughts. If I go here to discrete, and let me see here. If I go to full access, let me go to full access here. If I go to discrete, I wonder if I can turn these on. So if I turn this on, you see what happens here. Okay. On the actual unit, interesting thing, on the actual unit, these LEDs up here light up. So, and since I'm using AI1, this LED is lit up right here. Digital output number 1. So it's hard to see on here, but this LED, I believe is currently on. What I want to do, let me try something else. I'm going to take that digital output, this one that I'm currently turning on, and I'm going to wire it, jumper it to a discrete input, and see if we can see that come on here. So give me a second, let me do this wiring. Okay, I've got my jumper wire in here, and just to put it in perspective, I have a wire going from this terminal here over to DI5. I have a direct wire going from this guy to this one right here. And this is the first output on here, or 13. Or if you look here, this terminal here is landing here on the DIN rail, or on the terminal block there. So this guy is tied to input number 5, or the drawing of the product from this guy to here. So on the monitor screen, we go to the over here on use full access. And if you look here, if I go to the inputs, you'll see right now all the inputs are off. I don't know why that one was on, but if I go back to discrete outputs, if I turn on output number 1, there, let it refresh, there it stays. Now if I go over here, you can see that that's tied to input number 5, and that's from there. And the LEDs are actually on the terminals. There's LEDs on there as well. So if I go back and turn this off here, oops, catch it there, turn it off. Come on. Let it refresh. Why can't I turn you off? Really? Oh, that's wonderful. It's amazing I can't turn it off. How about that? Okay, there it is. Go here. Try to turn that thing off. Uncheck it. Uncheck it. Come on. Uncheck. Why does it say checked? Oh my gosh. Really? Let me refresh this. Hold on. Back to tools. Go to full access. Uncheck it. I got it unchecked. Why does it say check? What about the other guys? We'll just do this. Okay, there they are. They're all 3 on. What about over here? Do they show anything here? Man, what is it doing? So there's that one. I just have a wire going from that guy. These are the other points, the same ones. Let's go back here and try to uncheck that again. Okay, it's unchecked that time. Who knows? Go back to here, and we should see, there it is, it's off. So that's a discrete input. Now I have the jumpers in the standard position on here. I have, if I go back to Crimson, I think this is all the stock settings on here. I don't have anything on here different. That's it. Maybe this is why those other ones are, you can't even, why do you have a pull down if you can't change it? That's wonderful. Anyway, So that is wired to input number 5 on there, and that's using a discrete output tied to a discrete input. So that's working pretty good on here so far. And of course, we're demoing the analog input as well, which I turned off, but we got that already taken care of. Now, the next thing I want to try to do is see if I can get a Modbus master to talk to this. So give me a second to try this out. Okay, team, for this demo, I'm going to use a software package called Radzio Modbus Master Simulator. This one here we've downloaded, we're playing with it. So this is the tool I'm using. I'm going to go to the connection, go down here to settings. I'm going to choose Modbus TCP. Here's the IP address of the unit I'm using. And I'm going to click the OK button. And then if I go connect, it should be connected. Go file new. Should open up a window here. And let's see here. So if I make this 10. So here we are looking at the coil status. Here's the input registers. So the same thing I was doing with the web page. If I double click on output number 1, turn it on here. Go ahead and update. There it is. And if I go back to my corresponding inputs, we should see number 5. There's number 5 on from that. And of course, if I go back to here to the coil status and turn this off, do an update there, and then go ahead and hit the pull down and do input status, we should see number 5 is off. So that works perfect. Now, let's take a look at our analog inputs here. Let's see these analog inputs here. Okay, so there's a number right there. Don't know what that's coming from. Let's look at holding registers here. Okay, so hold on a second here. I'm going to look at the documentation. So back here in Crimson, if you over here at I/O channels, click on the top here, and it should give us some stuff here. So discrete. Here's the analog inputs 1 through 8, and I'm assuming that's either in the 3000 series, possibly, I think, or the 4000. I don't know for sure. This might be the 4000. These might be the analog input, the 3000 series. So let's go back to Radzio here. Okay, so if we go here to our input registers, we got some weird number here. I don't know why that is right now. And let me do this. Let me turn on my 4 to 20 mil simulator again. Okay. All right, though this is interesting. I'm putting out 0 milliamps right now. Look at that number. Let's go ahead and ramp this up and see if anything changes. Aha. Let's take this up to, let's take it up to 4 milliamps. Hold on, I went way past it here. So I'm 4.1 milliamps. There's that number. Ah, look at this. This is great, team. It's the same as before. Once I go down below, since it's acting as assigned, it's rolling over. Okay, that makes sense to me. I bet, yeah. Okay, perfect. So there it is there. I wonder if you can switch. I don't know enough about the software. Anyway, so there's 4.1 milliamps. And if I ramp this up to 12 milliamps, we should, I think, get around 16,000 here. Let's see what we get here. Oops, I went way past it. Hold on. There's 12 milliamps. Yep, that's the halfway point, just like on the web page. And if we take it all the way to 20 milliamps, there we are at 20 milliamps. And there's our full scale number right there. So pretty sweet there. That's working there. I wonder, I'm pretty sure that if you were to go to the output registers, the holding registers here, and put a number here, that would be your milliamp output on this thing. But I don't have a gauge to measure that, so I just have an input thing. But anyway, that's a pretty cool demo. Taking it from the beginning, configuring the IP address, using the COM port to USB download. You know, and since I'm doing that now, if I wanted to download over Ethernet, I'm just curious. If I was to go back to here, there's that. The download was configured. So if I go pull down here, go to options, choose the TCP now. There we go. Okay, I'm going to turn off or unplug my USB connector. So there it is. And if I make a change to this, I'm not going to make a change, but let's see if I can download to it. So yes. Okay, download over Ethernet. Pretty sweet. So, but of course, you got to use the USB the first time to set up the IP address. From that time on, you can download to it. That's it. That's all I wanted to show. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great day, folks. See you later.